Hey there, this is Ashley, your host for the Ready, Set, Depart podcast. Do you want to make some memories and travel with your family? It's not as hard as you think. Let's go! Hello, and welcome to episode 17 of the Ready, Set, Depart podcast. We are so glad you're here. What do nutcrackers, bratwurst, reindeer, and Seattle have in common? Well, Leavenworth, of course. Have you ever heard of Leavenworth, Washington? Let me just say that if you've ever wanted to step into a Hallmark movie, but with the aforementioned bratwurst, reindeer, and mountain views, this is the episode for you. Leavenworth is a little Bavarian town in the Cascade Mountains, and it's the perfect place to spend a summer weekend with your family. It's only about 2.5 hours east of Seattle, but it is worlds away. Today, you see a Bavarian village that rivals even the sights you'll see in the German Alps. But if you were there in the 1890s, you would have seen a city straight out of the Old West. Fur traders, loggers, and gold miners flocked to the area for the riches they could find. Then, as soon as the railroad line was built close to the city, Icicle Flats, as it was then called, was born. It was booming for logging and sawmills, up until it wasn't. You see, they moved the railroad, and with that, the sawmills closed and the logging went away. It seemed that beautiful Icicle Flats was going to fade off into the dust. But then, in the 1960s, the city decided to make itself a destination for tourists. Since the area was often compared to German Bavaria, they decided to take the theme and run with it. Every home, every building, even the grocery store was changed into a Bavarian themed building. Not only that, they also created festivals to bring in the tourists. Things like the Autumn Leaf Festival, Mayfest, and the Christmas Lighting Festival was begun in the 60s and continues until this day. More than 1 million visitors travel there every year, and for good reason. Leavenworth is a fun destination any time of the year, but why not head that way in the summer? Why would you want to? Well, let's see. In Leavenworth, there are reindeer. I know what you're thinking. What, reindeer? Like the North Pole reindeer? And while these are the very animals that pull Santa's sleigh, you won't see them flying around the Leavenworth Reindeer Farm, but you will be able to go in there with them and feed them. After a very informative talk, you're given their favorite treats and you go in with them and interact with them. It is really fun, especially if you're like us and love animals. A couple of things to note about the Leavenworth Reindeer Farm. First, if you have been near sheep in the previous week, you can't go to the farm because sheep can carry a disease that will kill reindeer. And second, both sexes of reindeer grow antlers, and when the velvet is on them, that's the fuzzy stuff that covers the antlers as they grow, they can feel it if they accidentally touch you, but once that velvet is gone, watch out for those antlers. It's a little like someone carrying a ladder and smacking into people behind them without even noticing. But it is great for all ages. And in the spring, you can meet babies. Their noses are so soft. In Leavenworth, there is an outdoor theater. Just picture it. You're in the mountains that feel a bit like the Alps in an outdoor theater that is beautiful, and you're watching The Sound of Music. Sounds pretty amazing, right? That's a great way to explain the Leavenworth Summer Theater. Amazing. Between the Alpine horns before the play starts to the excellent performances, it is fun for all ages. Well, I should say it's fun for children 5 years old and up since they don't admit children under 5. And they put on other plays as well. This year it's Carousel and The Little Mermaid, but those change every year. In all the years I've been watching, Sound of Music is always the staple. Here are a couple of tips when you go to the Leavenworth Summer Theater. Even though it is in the summer, once the sun goes down, it gets cold in the mountains. Remember a sweater and you can bring blankets if you want. You'll have to walk a little ways uphill to the actual theater, so keep that in mind. They describe it as about 3 blocks from the parking area to the theater. It wasn't too bad, but if you have someone in your party that has a hard time with hills, there's a shuttle. They suggest you allow 30 to 45 minutes to park and walk to the theater. We found that to be just about right. You can rent seat cushions, which we definitely recommend because the chairs are just those white outdoor chairs. You know the ones I mean. And our last tip is to bring a flashlight for the trek back down to your car. We did not, but luckily a lot of people around us did, so we were able to make it back. But next time, we won't forget those flashlights. In Leavenworth, there is an Alpine coaster. The Leavenworth Adventure Park just opened the Tumwater Twister Alpine coaster to go along with their climbing wall, mining sluice, and amazing Bavarian food. If you've never seen an Alpine coaster, let me explain it to you as best I can. You sit in a small car that usually seats two people with a second person sitting behind the driver. The driver has a stick that they can use to slow down the car as you go down a track that hugs the mountain. It can be as fast or as slow as you want, but just keep in mind that it's better to slow down a bit as you go into the curves. Here's how they describe their coaster. Experience the Tumwater Twister, Washington's first alpine coaster. Zoom down 2,700 feet of track with a 230-foot vertical drop, three 360 spirals, and heights up to 35 feet. Scenic, thrilling, and open year round. Sounds pretty exciting, right? Well, it is. While we haven't been on this alpine coaster since it wasn't open yet when we were there, we have been on others, and they are definitely thrilling. In Leavenworth, there's hiking galore in and around the area. Whether you're like me and any walk on dirt is a hike, or more like Brent who loves to get lost in the mountains, there is something for you in Leavenworth. We love the old pipeline bed trail. It's close to Leavenworth and is fairly easy. It goes right along the Wenatchee River and it is beautiful. It's about 2.5 miles round trip and only gains about 100 feet in elevation, so just about anyone can do it. There is a water crossing before you get to the end, so keep that in mind. Check out our website at readysetdepart.com for a picture of what I'm talking about. The first time we hiked this trail, Brent had Trooper in a backpack because he was only about 18 months old. And then we get to the little water crossing, and it took me some time to be okay with him walking across the log with Trooper on his back. Brent was confident, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it might be, but just keep that in mind. If you're looking for something a little tougher, here are a few other trails you could check out. The Icicle Ridge Trail is about a 6 mile round trip trail that gains about 1,800 feet. This one is considered a moderate to hard trail, but well maintained and beautiful. The 4th of July Creek Trail is a hard 12-mile round trip hike that gains 4,300 feet in elevation. They say that the views alone make up for it, though, and there are tons of wildflower fields in the spring. Finally, the Enchantments is a backpacker's dream. Brent always says the name with a little bit of reverence. It is a hard 18-mile one-way trail that gains 4,500 feet in elevation. You'll find glaciers, larches, and crystal blue lakes. If you're looking to get lost in the wild, this is definitely a place to go. In Leavenworth, there is a river that you can float down or just play in. The Wenatchee River meanders its way through Leavenworth, and on a warm summer day, there is nothing better than floating down the river with your family. From tubing to rafting classes, Leavenworth is the place to play in the water. If you'd rather just put your feet in the river, head on over to the waterfront park. Find a parking space at the bottom, hopefully, and roll up those pants. The water is cold because it's glacier fed, but the temps can soar to the hundreds, so it feels great. In Leavenworth, there is some good food. If you like German food, Leavenworth is where to go. Before going to Leavenworth, I didn't know if I liked German food. I'd always heard the song from Sound of Music that talks about one of her favorite things, schnitzel with noodles, and I knew that pretzels were German, and that was about it. Oh, and German beer. But we don't drink, so that never really interested me either. Well, I have now had schnitzel with noodle, and I can tell you that schnitzel is a thin piece of meat. I had chicken and Brent had pork that is breaded and fried, and it's good. Though I did like Brent's pork better, that's the traditional meat. However, the noodles are a little bit like gnocchi and not my favorite, but the pickled cabbage was rather nice. And the pretzels are yummy. I don't love bratwurst though, but I also don't really love hot dogs. So if you like hot dogs and don't mind that little pop, Brent says the bratwurst is amazing. But if you'd rather not try the German fare, there are plenty of places to go. We loved the Leavenworth Pizza Company for some great pizza and trivia on certain nights, Ludwig's German restaurant for schnitzel, and Gustav's for a little bit of everything. There's also a McDonald's if that's more your type of food, and a grocery store. In Leavenworth, there is rock climbing. Within a 10-mile radius of Leavenworth, there are 50 crags of granite for you to climb. There are easy climbs and much harder ones. So if you are into rock climbing, check out the leavenworth.org website and learn all about it. In Leavenworth, there is a nutcracker museum. Housing over 9,000 nutcrackers, the Nutcracker Museum is quite the sight. From 12th century nutcrackers to modern day ones, you'll learn more than you ever thought you needed to know about these fun little inventions. And there's a scavenger hunt to find certain nutcrackers amongst the display cases. Be aware that there is an entrance fee, but if you are even just a little bit interested in nutcrackers, this is the place to go. In Leavenworth, there is mini golf. I have developed a bit of a thing for mini golfing lately, and my family has been kind enough to join me. I grew up with a dad who went golfing all the time, and while I don't love golfing, sorry, Dad, I do love mini golf. The Icicle Village Resort Mini Golf is a great little course just off the main highway in Leavenworth. We all love the atmosphere, and the course wasn't too hard, but not too easy, which is nice. We took Grandma there with us, and we all had a ball. So take a minute in your Leavenworth weekend to enjoy a little friendly competition. And no, you don't need to be staying at the resort to mini golf. In Leavenworth, there's a fish hatchery that you can visit. But I'm going to let Trooper tell you more about it.
Hey guys, Trooper here. Here's some intel on the Leavenworth National Fish Hatchery. You're probably thinking, what's a fish hatchery? Well, a fish hatchery is where scientists hatch endangered or threatened fish species and release them back into the wild. Here in Leavenworth, they mostly hatch Chinook salmon. The Chinook salmon make their way to the ocean and then swim 500 miles back to the Icicle Creek where they were hatched. It's quite amazing. When we were there, I was able to get the Leavenworth National Fish Hatchery Junior Ranger Fish Biologist badge. Wow, that's a mouthful. It's a lot like the Junior Ranger program from the national parks, but the badge is a bit cooler. Take a look at our website at readysetapart.com/17 to see it. But we're not sure it's still available because Mom searched the web for a while trying to find out about it. Check in at the visitor center, if it's open, and ask the volunteers. There are some great hikes around the area, but remember, it gets hot in Leavenworth in the summer, so bring water, a hat, and some sunglasses too. And then go back to the Wenatchee River and dip your toes in to cool off. That's my intel for today. See ya!
And finally, near Leavenworth, there is a lake. Lake Wenatchee, to be specific. It's only about 40 miles north of Leavenworth and a great destination for boating or swimming or hiking. You can camp or ride horses. There is tons to do. And remember, it's a Washington State park that participates in their very own version of the Junior Ranger program. So pick up the booklet and earn that badge. So, whether you're in the mood for bratwurst, mountains, musicals, or mini golf, Leavenworth has something for everyone. Before we go, here are your quick takeaways. Feed reindeer at the Leavenworth Reindeer Farm. Just don't visit after hanging out with sheep. Catch a show at the magical outdoor Leavenworth Summer Theater. Ride the Alpine coaster at Leavenworth Adventure Park. Hike trails like the old Pipeline Bed or Icicle Ridge. Float the Wenatchee River or wade in at the Waterfront Park. Eat German food, schnitzel, pretzels, and more. Visit quirky spots like the Nutcracker Museum and the Fish Hatchery. Play mini golf at Icicle Village. Take a day trip to Lake Wenatchee for hiking, swimming, and camping. Leavenworth is a place that's hard to describe and even harder to forget. It's the kind of town that feels like a postcard, one that you and your family will keep wanting to revisit. That's all for us today. See you next time. Hey, and if you love this episode, we'd love for you to follow, leave a review, or share it with your friends who need a little mountain escape. And don't forget to check out photos and tips at readysetdepart.com/17. Thank you for listening. If you like this podcast, be sure to share it with your friends or even leave us a review so others can find it. Follow us on Instagram at Ready Set Depart Podcast. This is Ashley with Ready, Set, Depart. Remember, traveling with your family and making memories is not as hard as you think. See you next time.